Welcome back, everybody, to a new video. Today, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on why I believe, for most men, it's probably not a good idea to start having children, babies, before the age of 35. Now, disclaimer, this is not a one-size-fits-all advice video. There are no such things as black and white truths. So this may or may not apply to you depending on your goals in life and what you're trying to get. Okay, so don't take this as me judging anyone or looking down on people who have gotten kids at 20. Do what you want. I'm just here to tell you what I've learned about having kids and how it impacts you, even though I don't have kids myself. Hence the video. So I feel like a lot of people go through life, have a bunch of ambition, have a bunch of ideas, have a bunch of energy, and for lack of a better word, they quickly find that they run out of real purpose. Having real purpose is hard. Having real purpose is tied into having properly identified what your purpose is and what it is that you want to spend the majority of your time on. This takes a lot of experimentation, this takes a lot of time, this takes a lot of patience, a lot of failure, a lot of starting over, and a lot of trying new things. All of these things that I've just listed are really hard and discouraging if one chooses to pursue them. So that being said, I feel like a lot of people kind of revert to quote-unquote default mode. I don't think I should say quote-unquote when I do the thingies, like you can already see, right? I feel like in a lot of ways having children is taking the path of least resistance. It's kind of like the only clearly, objectively identifiable goal that we as a human species have. Like, we can argue about the meaning of life all day, but I think we're all kind of like in full agreement on the subject of that being like nature's intended goal for us as a species, as it is for most, if not all, living beings. It is to procreate. So I feel like a lot of times when I say people revert to default mode, it's them really not having figured it all out, them not being willing to put in the uncomfortable effort of continuing to chase that conclusion of what that should be, and then, like I said, reverting to the path of least resistance, which is like the ultimate purpose. I'm gonna be a dad, I'm gonna make a mini-me, and I'm gonna teach him about the world, and I'm gonna raise him to be a good person. And that's also where my ideology comes in. I just never met an adult person that was not at least like 32, 33 years old. This is not an exact science, like don't get too stuck on those numbers, but like I've never met anyone below 30 that made me go, you're like an adult. I do not consider someone's ability to make money and to build businesses and to form relationships and to travel a lot and to be successful. I do not consider any of those to be traits of real adulthood. I'm a firm believer that especially men, we have a very slow developing arc as it pertains to mental fortitude, true understanding of the world, of society, of ourselves, bringing down the testosterone type of thinking, bringing down the male ego. And I feel like most men really don't arrive there until their mid-30s. Our vision is clouded. We see things through a lens of, like I said, testosterone and ego and competition, when really those are all quite animalistic traits that do not lend themselves to a higher understanding of the world, of life, of society. Hence why women are widely believed to always be way more mature than men at a far younger age. That is not a myth. It is, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you haven't figured that one out, it's a simple fact to me. Women are far more mature way earlier. So, what I was saying is, how are you going to teach a kid? How are you going to really try to craft that person to be the best person they can be when you haven't even gone through that process yourself? I don't think having a kid is the answer. I also think a lot of people see having a kid as the logical next step in a relationship. In the worst case, a lot of couples even see it as a means to rectify and to heal and restore a relationship. Just in my personal life, I can give you countless examples of people that had a relationship crisis, a marital crisis, somehow were able to not split up, not divorce, and right after, willingly or not, decided to make a whole human. And before the whole human was born, the relationship or said marriage had already ended. But this time, for real. But now you have a whole human on the way. You know, like, I'll never get that, but it's a real thing. In 2024, people still have massive existential fights in terms of their relationship. They somehow get back together and they decide to celebrate by having their first kid, or even worse, another kid. Well, I don't know which one is worse, but like, that's the thing. That still happens all the time. Like, people really do make really dumb, irrational decisions all the time. And that's kind of where I'm coming from with this one. Stop thinking that you're special, or that you're too smart, or that you're above all of this. If you are in a relationship and you have a dynamic, just understand that many rational thinking, logical thinking men have come before you and still have got caught up in that exact same situation. Mind you, when I say that, I am definitely not trying to blame the women for that. This is not a NGTOW video. This is not a anti-women video, alright? Not at all, not even close. So, consider that once you have a kid, it should be all about the kid. Your ambition, your adventure, your timeline kind of comes to an halt. It's about that kid now. And trust me, being 36 and having a bunch of people around me, a bunch of peers being fathers for the first time, there's really not a lot of energy and time left once you have a kid. So you really need to understand that all of your personal dreams and things that you haven't achieved yet, you really need to put those on hold for a long ass minute, aka probably forever. What ends up happening, if you do not choose to do so, is that you'll start treating your own kid as a second chance. We see this all the time. Dads that thought they were gonna be good at football, soccer, basketball, it didn't pan out, and now the kid has to become just that. The kid has to live out the dreams that the father was never able to. It's important that you try to live out your dreams, not to actually make them happen, but it's important to fail at them. It's important to realize it wasn't in the cards for you. That's how I always approached picking up women in general. I did not mind getting a rejection. I did not mind any woman telling me no. But I needed that rejection. That was my job, to get that rejection. The thing that would give me sleepless nights and a gut-wrenching feeling was to see a woman that I liked and not having tried. Not having confirmed that she was in fact not the one. Like walking away and thinking, maybe, just maybe, that was the one that was into tall, pale dudes with braids and a crazy ass facial scar. Maybe that was her, right? I just need that no. I need that rejection. I need that fuck off face. Then I've done my job. And it's the same with dreams and ambitions. You have to try. It's not about like, we get it all misconstrued. We think it's about making those goals. No, it's about knowing that it was in the cards for you or not. It's about shooting your shot. That's it. I thought I was going to go to the NBA when I was 13 years old. I used to practice all day, every single day. And at the age of 15, I was the best player on my local village basketball team. Then a bigger city team came and scouted me and asked me to join their ranks. And at the time they were playing at the highest level of youth basketball in Belgium. So me having had amazing parents, my dad obliged to drive me to the city and back 4 times a week. And I played there for 3 years. And it took me about a season and a half of, and I was busting my ass, doing my best and trying really hard. And I remember it being like a season and a half in, and just having that epiphany of realizing no matter what I do, no matter how hard I train, no matter how hard I try and how badly I want it, I'm never gonna be as good as that guy and that guy and that guy. They just have more talent than me. They have certain things that you cannot practice, that you cannot teach or learn. And it gave me a great sense of calm and peace. And it just was like, oh, okay. So I was not meant to be an NBA player, or let alone a professional basketball player in Belgium. It was not in the cards for me. Now, had my parents not been amazing, and had I not taken that opportunity to go play for them, I probably would still be telling people at the bar that I could have been, a professional basketball player, but my daddy wouldn't let me. There's a lot of people like that. And I know for the fact that a lot of people watching this video right now know people like that firsthand, who could have done this, would have done that, if XYZ didn't happen. So I say all that to say, don't let a kid be the X or the Y or the Z. Make sure that you optimize attempting to live out your own timeline to the fullest. Don't be too quick to rush into fatherhood, to rush into that next phase of life. Make sure that you have truly done your things first. And if you're not the type of person, if you don't have many interests, and if you've been thinking about being a father since you were 16, and you just want to raise kids all day, because I know people like that actually exist, more than you think, that's totally fine. That's cool. No judgment from me. Great. But if you're like me, understand that you would probably not be the greatest and best dad, because you would still have this huge, selfish, and egotistical journey that you first need to get out the way before you're ready to step aside and make your kid the center of your universe instead of yourself. Don't be that father that needs to jump on his racing bike for 4 hours every day to get away from home. Trust me, being Belgian, where cycling is immensely popular, I know a lot of dudes like that. A lot of dudes running away from home. It's a thing. It's definitely a thing. And to me, it signifies poor decision making, the inability of rational perception, and basically just not having thought things through. So that's why I wanted to make this video today. Alright guys, appreciate you watching. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and leave a comment. Peace out.